This segment is sponsored by the Lerner Theater.
Well, the Lerner Theater has been a staple in downtown Elkhart since the 1920s. And this year, they are celebrating their 95th anniversary, and they want you to be a part of it. Here to tell us more is my good friend, Michelle Frank. In full disclosure, you know, when I'm not doing this in the morning, I'm working at the Lerner as Executive Artistic Director for Premier Arts. We live at the Lerner. So Michelle and I work together every day, and so it's so exciting to have you on the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
On our first show.
Yes,
it's
definitely.
Super exciting. So, 95 what? I mean, it was built the year you were born.
No, you're so funny.
So, what is going on this year that's super special?
So, 95 years is it's really exciting because a lot of historic theaters don't get to see that milestone. And so it's definitely a labor of love to have the Lerner reach 95. You know, we're going from renovating the Lerner with a $20 million renovation during a recession, which is just absolutely incredible that the city was able to fund that. But then it was also by donor support and private donors that was able to make this milestone for us. So a lot of fun things coming up in our 95 years, and kind of what we're looking forward to just moving forward. We want to be able to be here for the next 95.
I love that. I mean, I'm going to be dead way before that, but you know. So what is the most exciting thing coming up for you?
Well, we have a lot of shows that are at the Lerner, so always go to thelerner.com to see what we have coming up. Let's see how good I can rattle all these off. So we have Shrek coming up, which I think you know a little bit about Shrek, just a little bit. Shrek this coming weekend. We have some really great shows for the kids. Underwater Bubble Show.
Oh, that does look really cool.
It's just, the videos for that are just amazing. And Stunt Dogs is going to be a really fun one. Lots of
people do love their
pooches
dogs
on the stage. We're excited. We have the National Tour of Kansas coming, which is going to be incredible. I'm really looking forward to that. Chris Stapleton's former group, the Steel Drivers, will be at the Lerner. Roots and Boots with Sammy Kershaw, Aaron Tippin, and Colin Ray. And, you know, there's always the local things as well. That's, you know, we really pride ourselves at the Lerner for being...
The symphony, the municipal band.
Municipal bands.
Often dance studios will have the recital there. So it really is a community building that everybody can use, which is kind of one of the things that makes it a little bit unique.
Definitely.
You know, everyday people can get on that great stage and that great auditorium and perform and share their talent. So we love that. You know, is it hard to figure out what to bring?
So that's a really great question. A lot of people...
Well, thank you.
Oh, my goodness.
Look at my interview skills.
Compliment the host. So I think a lot of people think that the Lerner brings our own shows, you know, so anytime you see, you know, Kansas coming, they think, oh, so the Lerner Theater is bringing Kansas. But what's really interesting about our model is that since the Lerner is city funded and city owned and operated, we are not the ones that actually put the shows on the stage. We go through promoters and renters who look at the theater with our size and the types of shows that we typically bring in, and they decide, you know, this would be a really great show for the Lerner Theater in Elkhart. We can draw from the region, draw from the community, and that is how we determine which shows go on the stage, which is kind of a little tidbit of info on a Monday morning.
It's such a beautiful facility. I know when we take our kids from the theater to New York, which we do about every other year, you know, it's interesting to see them walk into these Broadway houses and they're like, oh my gosh, our theater is nicer than this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a gem in the middle of downtown Elkhart. And, you know, if you haven't been to Elkhart lately, you really should consider it. There's so many new things happening there, so many new restaurants.
Absolutely.
We're getting a new hotel.
Yes, very excited about that one.
Very excited.
It really is different. It's, you know, seeing a show at the Lerner, you know, there's magnificence behind it and there's vibrancy behind it, and so it's very different than seeing it in, you know, an event center or
a stadium
or
something
definitely.
like that. Right?
It feels like you're in your own living room, up close and personal with your favorite artists.
And 1,700 seats, and there's not a bad one in the house.
Not at all.
Michelle, how do we find out more about the Lerner, get involved at the Lerner?
Oh, great question,
oh my God,
Craig.
Bat 1,000.
So thelerner.com is our website. You can also find us on Facebook at the Lerner Theater, Twitter and Instagram as well.
You're just all socially connected there.
We are.
And it's not only come to a show, but like we were talking, you could come and volunteer. The ushers and the people who work in the front of the house are volunteers throughout the community, and we have a great group of volunteers there. very dedicated. So why don't you join the crew, join the audience, join us at the Lerner, celebrate 95 years. It's the Lerner Theater, 410 South Main Street, downtown Elkhart. Tickets are $293-4469 or found at thelerner.com. Facebook, the Lerner Theater, Twitter, the Lerner Theater, just everything Lerner Theater. So check it out and stay tuned. Michelle's going to come back, I think, periodically to share the exciting things happening at the Lerner. Coming up, it's